Jeff Jacobson, my co-founder, and I have both founded Solstice Partners, worked on Retrieve RE together, and now head up and co-founded Kinglet. And for us, we have a relationship that spans over 12 years. So it's pretty fluid in terms of being able to understand each other's weaknesses and strengths and be able to leverage those. For Jeff, he's got a great marketing background, having worked at Disney and ESPN. So he leads all of our marketing efforts. I would say that he has a lot of creative juices that bleed into our daily thinking, our daily messaging with regards to Kinglet. And the way that we divide our time is that Jeff really spearheads our marketing efforts and works primarily on the demand side of the business. And I spearhead our supply side. So talking to potential supply side companies in DC, drilling down to the business level, understanding what business might be receptive to loading space into our marketplace, and then feeding the system from that angle. I also run point with our capital raise and mostly focus on the capital side and the supply side. We never had a vision for Solstice Partners to become the next Bozzuto. We wanted Solstice Partners to always be a boutique real estate development shop, and that's what we intend to do. Kinglet needs to be big. Kinglet needs to have a regional presence quickly and then a national presence in the matter of a couple of years, because our model is infinitely scalable. Dealing in bricks and mortar, every project has a pretty long time horizon. I could be working on the same deal for 5, 6, 10 years. But with technology, things are rapidly evolving. So we could iterate on the fly. We could make changes after a design meeting. And those things are really exciting. So for us, we see the market opportunity is a really big one with Kinglet, and we intend to follow through on that. Expansion plans for Kinglet is to do a mid-Atlantic push in 2015. We have proven out concept in the Baltimore metro market, and right now we're preparing to launch DC at the end of March. So we're looking for great suppliers in the district specifically, and also Northern Virginia and Montgomery County. Then from there, by June, we're going to push into Philadelphia, and by year end, push into New York and Boston. As much as we talk about technology and automating everything, it really boils down to the people. So being able to have the best talent in our office to be able to execute our vision, I would say is a challenge that most entrepreneurs don't really recognize and don't really experience until they've had some early success. So for us, I really worry about having the right people in place, and then also maintaining focus, maintaining a vision that everyone is sharing, that everyone can really drive into. Because when you're a small business, it's easy for everybody to try and tackle every single problem at once. But as you grow an organization, you need to have a bit more structure and process. So figuring out what the right mechanism is and what the right organizational structure is something I spend a lot of time with. One of the great things about real estate is that it's hugely fragmented. That's the way that people have made a lot of money in real estate. Every market has its nuances, and people leverage that into profit at the end of the day. But what we're also trying to do is create more transparency, standardization, and efficiency. So there'll definitely be some friction as we go into certain markets. I think what we'll find is that some markets will do exceptionally well on the supply side, and there won't be as much demand as other markets, and vice versa. So we've taken a lot of cues actually from Airbnb to some extent, and they've approached every market as its own little micro economy or regional economy, and really studied whether or not it would be a demand side focused market or supply side focused market, and adjusted their model accordingly. So we're doing some early learning there, and I think that we'll be successful as long as we can stay nimble. I think landing any investor, you need to take the same approach, no matter whether it is David Williams at Merkle, Brad Dickerson at Under Armour, or Chris Brandenburg. The approach needs to be relatable. So I would advise any investor or any entrepreneur looking to connect that you just need to do your homework. there needs to be a good fit on a number of different parallels. For instance, for us, we do our homework to be able to have a relatable story to the investor. So a guy like Brad Dickerson, that obviously are doing some really big things at Under Armour, started from some pretty humble beginnings. They grew their business organically in the Baltimore metro market, and a lot of these investors, when they were running their companies, experienced problems with landing their first commercial office space. So we tell a relatable story. So make sure that thread is woven through the pitch somewhere. And also for us, it's just being diligent with regards to follow-up. I wouldn't advise that we have any secret sauce versus anyone else with regards to landing investors, but you need to have a simple business model that you could explain in a relatable way to an investor, and then the rest of my advice would just be things that you hear every day. Be personable, be organized, be responsive, have a really simple, easy to understand pitch, because everybody's time is pretty valuable, so you need to be succinct. We are always working on raising capital. I think that'll never end. We need to grow the business. We need to do so quickly. So we will start to entertain some discussions about Series A, I would say this summer of 2015. And ideally have a Series A close by year end 2015, but that might bleed into 2016.